What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Miss Azrael's Gaming. So today we're going to jump into a newer, smaller game for my channel called Familiar Friends, What's Your Familiar? Now, the devs reached out to me about this game. It is free on Steam. They're the same devs that did A Work of Art, which if you haven't seen that game on my channel, go back and check it out. It was a like a horror-based game. Very neat. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of like, it had RPG elements as well as visual novels elements to it as well. It was, really well done. I really enjoyed it. And this is kind of set up the same way. It has the visual novel feel. So let's go ahead and start a new game. And I always love the art style in these games. Okay, so Diary of the Madman. Once upon a lifetime ago, where raging magic rivers flow, mana blooms from tree to tree, and creatures roam the forest free. Mythical groves sit tucked away, where friendly critters lie in wait, familiars forgotten, left alone, just waiting for someone to take them home. For days upon days you wander through the forest, treading through the overgrowth and unknown. The trees shift and change as you walk, branches contorting with every step. The winding paths twist and transform behind you as you progress deeper into the woods, and there appears to be no end in sight until... You happen upon a quaint, cozy-looking cottage in a dense thicket deep into the woods. You look around briefly for any signs of inhabitants, but see no one. Just then, a distant voice calls to you from the trees. Well, hello there, wanderer. Oh my goodness, how adorable. Frizzle Frazzle, finder of things. I'm so glad you could make it. I was worried you weren't going to show up today, but I should have known better. You can call me Frizzle Frazzle. I'll be the one helping you find your familiar today. Every good wanderer needs an equally good familiar, but not just any familiar, no. Here at Familiar Friends, we pride ourselves on finding the perfect familiar suited for you. With that being said, today just so happens to be my first day on the job, but rest assured, I'm confident in my abilities, wanderer. I hope so. I mean, you being a newbie and all. I'll have you know that I graduated with straight C's from the top familiar finding school and other side, Porvirency University. Straight C's. Is that the highest grade you can get? Okay, so C stands for cats, which is the highest grade you can get. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad, as it should be. I mean, yeah, who wants an A? Now, in order to find your proper familiar, I'm going to need some information from you. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and all you have to do is provide an answer for me. Then, based on your answers, we'll be able to use our conjuring cauldron to find your familiar in the nether and bring them for you to take home. Why don't you follow me inside so we can get started? Sure, I'll listen to a talking cat. Welcome to the Familiar Friends Conjuring Chambers. It's so lovely to have you here. Now, I'm going to start asking you some questions, so just sit back, relax, and make yourself comfortable. Feel free to take your time when thinking about your answers. There's no rush at all, and the more you think about each question, the better your results will have. Let's get started then, shall we? Here we go. Have you ever fallen asleep at work or school? Oh man, that's it. Because I've nodded off at both when I was in school before and at work, but I didn't fully fall asleep. But I'll go ahead and say yes, because like I said, I have nodded. Maybe I took a little nap. Okay, do you enjoy camping? Yeah, I would say so. I can enjoy camping. Do you enjoy fishing? Honestly, I've never fished. It's just something I've not done, which is funny because I have gone camping, but it wasn't one of those trips where we went fishing when we were camping. So I'll just say no, because it's something I have not done. Do you enjoy hunting? Once again, never hunted. So I'll go ahead and say no on that, just because I have not done that. Okay, do you enjoy sweet, sugary foods? I mean, who doesn't? Would you consider yourself to be a hard worker? Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think. Would you consider yourself to be lazy? I don't think I am, personally. I mean, my mother might have something to say about that. Be like, no, you're lazy. But from when I was a kid. But I don't consider myself lazy. I know I have lazy days where, like, I don't want to do anything, but I'm going to go with no. Okay, would you consider yourself to be an honest person? 100%. Honesty is the best policy. Would you consider yourself to be empathetic? I feel that I am. I empathize with people, and their feelings. Would you consider yourself to be resilient? Yeah. I mean, a lot of things I've experienced in my life, I've bounced back, from, bad things or, just things that, weren't the best. So I'll go with yes. Do you frighten easily? No, I do not. Would you consider yourself to have above average intelligence? I mean, I would think most people would say yes, because you'd like to think you do. I think I do. Would you consider yourself to be vain? No, that's a definite no. I'm not vain at all. Would you consider yourself to be a good pet owner? I do feel that. I have a Bichon Frise, and her name is Snowflake. And she's my old girl because she's like 13 years old. So I've had her for a very long time. And I mean, she's doing good. She's doing good. So I would say I'm a good pet owner. Would you consider yourself to be responsible? 100%. Would you consider yourself to be good at keeping plants alive? I'd say so. I don't usually grow too many plants or flowers or things like that, but when I've had them, I've had no trouble with it. Are you protective of your friends and family? That's easy. 100%. Yes. Okay. Do you have a lot of secrets that you keep from others? Not really. I mean, I know I have some things that I like to keep to myself, but for the most part, I'd say I'm an open book. I don't really keep secrets from people. Okay, do you think anyone knows the real you? Yes, there are people that know the real me, people in my life who are extremely close to me, that do know the real me. And some people think they know the real me, but, they don't. But I do have people that do know the real me, and they know who I really am. And okay, so let's see. Do you have any irrational fears? I don't think I do. I mean, I can't think of any, so I'll say no. Do you enjoy the forest? Yes, I love hiking. Do you enjoy the ocean? I mean, I've never seen the ocean. I've never, been to a state here in the U.S. that I've been able to see the ocean, but I do like it. Do I want to swim in it? No, because I don't want a shark to eat me, so... But yes, I do. I like the ocean and things about it, so... Would you consider yourself to be a good swimmer? I mean, I can. I think I am. Do you prefer nighttime over daytime? Oh, man. I mean, I enjoy some aspects of nighttime, just like there are things during the day that I enjoy, but I would probably say I'm more of a daytime person, so I would go with no on that one. Do you think life is too short? Yes, I feel that it is. Is being wealthy important to you? No, not at all. Wealth means nothing to me. I mean, it's nice to have that so that you can, get the things that you want or, buy things for the people that you care about. But, money isn't everything. So, do you care what people think of you? Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, ultimately, most people would probably say, no, I don't care what people think of you. But I mean, there's always that lingering doubt about what people think about you, but then you also just shouldn't let that bother you. But ultimately, I mean, I know that meant something when I was younger, I did care and I wanted, people to like me and stuff like that. But now I'm that I'm older, it's I don't really care. So I'm going to go with no, but I mean, you still get those aspects where you want, certain people to, think about you, care about their opinion about you and stuff like that. But I'm going to say no. Okay, have you ever had an imaginary friend? I'm sure I did when I was a kid. Have you ever eaten someone else's food without permission? Yes. Yes, I have. I have done that. Do you think you'd make a good leader? Ooh, that's kind of a tough one. I'd like to think I could be a good leader. I'm sure there are some flaws that I have about me that wouldn't make me a good leader, but I think I could. I'd be a good leader. Do you prefer to follow someone else's lead? Sometimes it's nice to do that. But I don't like to be a follower. The only time I like doing that is if it's something I'm going into that's unknown and I'm with somebody who knows, what we're doing or something like that. And then I'll be like, okay, walk me through this. But I genuinely don't like to be a follower. Okay, do you ever feel small in this great big world? I would say yeah. If you can change anything about your past, would you choose to change it at all? Honestly, your past is what brings you to your future. I'm sure there are some things that I wish I could change about it. Certain things that have happened, but then, the things that I have now wouldn't have happened. So in the grand scheme of things, yeah, there are small things that I wish I could have changed, and taken back. There's a band that I really, really like. It's a band called Rammstein. They're a German band, and I actually had went back where their tour buses with, and this was when I was really young, and I would go to concerts with my dad, and I had the chance to holler at them to get an autograph, and I could have done it in German because I was taking German at the time, and my dad was like, come on, you do it, it'll get their attention, because they're not paying attention to anybody else screaming at them, but if you talk to them in German, maybe that'll, get them over there. But I was too nervous, I couldn't do it, so that would be something I would change. But, significant things, probably not, because I wouldn't have the things that I have now. So I would say no. Okay, do you have any deep regrets? Sure. I don't know if they're deep regrets, but everybody has some type of regret. But I don't have anything that's just so deep, and I think about it constantly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had never done that. So I'm going to say no. Do you think you might sleep more than the average person? I do not. I do not. I wish I did, but I do not. Do you find intelligence attractive? I do. I do like intelligence, because it's not all about, what's on the outside. It's what's on the inside. Do you work well with others? I feel I do. Would you consider yourself to be creative? Yeah, I like to think too. I like to write. I'm not artistically creative. I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my life. But I do enjoy writing, and, I'm been writing a novel for, quite a long time now. I still haven't finished it. I've done short stories. I just love writing, so I would say yes. If you could, would you use magic to make a living? Heck yeah. Who wouldn't? I would totally use magic to make a living. If you could get away with it, would you steal to make a living? No. Even if I could get away with it, I feel like it's not something I could live with. I don't think I could live with myself if I was just stealing from people or places or things like that. So I would say no. Would you enjoy working in a garden? Yeah, I would say yes. Would you enjoy working on a ship? Oh, I don't know. I've never been on a ship before. I've been on a canoe, but that's far from a ship. But I wish there was a maybe, because this isn't really a yes or no question, since I've never been on one. But we'll say yes. Possibly I would. I don't know. Would you enjoy living in a treehouse? I wouldn't mind it if it also had the living amenities that I was used to. So, I could live in a treehouse. Would you enjoy living in an underground bunker? Oh man. Honestly, probably not. Like, I don't think that would be very enjoyable to live in. So I'll say no. Are you afraid of the dark? I'm not afraid of the dark. Do you drink enough water on a daily basis? Honestly, probably no. Have you ever had an animal as a best friend? I mean, yeah, I would consider Snowy one of my best friends. Are you good at sharing your food? Yeah. I share with my daughter all the time. She'll be like, want something, and then she'll see what's on my plate, and she'll be like, can I have some of that? And I'm like, okay. Would you consider yourself to be selfish at times? I don't. Oh, that's a tough one. Because I don't perceive myself as selfish at times. Especially with being a mom, it's kind of hard to be selfish because like my time and stuff goes, to my daughter. So I would say no, I don't feel that I'm selfish. Would you be happy living in the snow? Like, living in the snow, like how? Like I had to live out in the snow, or it's snowing all the time? I mean, I wouldn't mind the snow. Like, I don't mind it as long as I don't have to drive in it. That's that's how I feel. So I would be happy with that. Would you be happy living in the scorching heat? Ugh. Not so much, because like when it's cold and stuff, you can like bundle up and put on like a lot of sweaters or jackets or boots and stuff like that. But when it's hot, you can only take off so much before you can't take off anymore. So I would not scorching heat, no. Especially with my asthma, it wouldn't be the best. Does the weather tend to affect your mood at all? Yeah, I would say it could. It can tend to affect my mood. Because I know, like when it's really cold and stuff, I can sometimes be a little grouchy. So I would say the weather can affect it. Does the lack of food affect your mood? Well, I think that happens to most people. You get hangry. So, would you consider yourself to be a nervous person? I'm not a nervous person. Would you consider yourself to be shy? Yes. Contrary to popular belief, I'm extremely shy. I'm a very shy person. Are you a curious person? I don't know if I'm curious or not. Like, I know I wonder about things, but I'm not like so curious, like I'll go and try something out and be like, oh, how would this work or something like that. I don't think I'm that curious. Have you ever felt like you might not be a person at all? I have never felt that. Do you enjoy soft, smooth textures? Yeah, I would say I do. Are there certain foods you can't eat due to their texture? No, I don't think texture doesn't seem to be an issue for me. So I would probably say no on that one. Are there certain textures that drive you crazy when you touch them? No, I don't think I've run into anything like that that's made me be like, ooh, I can't touch that. If you could rule the world, would you choose to? Oh man, that would be a lot of responsibility. So honestly, I probably wouldn't want to do that. I mean, because if you're ruling the world, you're responsible for everybody and everything in it. So I wouldn't want that kind of responsibility. Would you ever use magic for selfish reasons? Honestly, yeah, I probably would. To do things for myself, or maybe give me like $1 million or something like that. But yeah, I probably would. Would you use magic to help others often? I would do that as well. Helping others and myself, If using magic took time off your life, would you still use it? Oh my gosh, what a deep question. Honestly, I would say no. But then it would depend on what I'm using the magic for. See, this is why I want a maybe button, because like if it was something to, like, let's say help another person, or like, with my daughter help her or something like that. I would do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't care if it took time off of my life. I would do it. Goodness. So I guess technically I would if I would be willing to do that. So I'll just go ahead and say yes. Do you enjoy listening to music frequently? Yeah, I'd say so. Do you play any instruments? I do. I play violin, although I haven't picked it up in quite a long time. I do play violin, and I taught myself a little bit of guitar as well. Do you enjoy singing? Yeah, I would say I do. I do love to dance, yes. Would you consider yourself to be a playful person? I'd like to think so. I think I'm playful. Is having a sense of humor important to you? Yes, I need people who can take jokes. Like, because I have a very sarcastic sense of humor. But, I also don't take myself seriously. I make, jokes about, just being like important or something like that, when deep down I know that that's like not true. But I do, a sense of humor is important, because if you can't get a joke, it's going to be hard for us to hang out, because I can't deal with people who can't take jokes. Because if you can't take a joke, you're taking yourself too seriously, or you're taking a situation too seriously. So you really need to, to lighten up and take jokes. Do you ever wish you had more help with daily tasks? Yeah, for sure. I really do. Do you get overwhelmed easily? I don't think so. I mean, I have moments at times, but it's not like it's not an easy thing that happens. So, do you work well under pressure? I think I do. Are you the type of person who rises to the challenge? Yeah, I'd like to think I do. Do you enjoy proving others wrong? No, that's not something I enjoy doing. That comes from being extremely arrogant, and I'm not an arrogant person, and I don't go out of my way to prove that I'm right and somebody else is wrong, because that's just really ridiculous to do to somebody, and you shouldn't enjoy, doing that. It's not a good feeling for anyone. Would you say you're adept at working with stubborn personalities? Ooh, that's a good question. That's also an extremely difficult question. I don't know. Stubborn people are very hard to work with, but I've also been called stubborn myself before. So, I mean, I would like to think I am. So let's go with yes. Do you try to learn something new every day? I don't know about every day, but, I do like learning new things. So I'll go with yes. Do you enjoy teaching or educating others on subjects you know well? I do. I'm big into history and things like that. I enjoy history, and dinosaurs and, stuff like that. So I like teaching my daughter, about those things. So I would say yes. Do you prefer to stay up late at night? I do usually stay up late at night, like when I'm streaming, but it's not like my preferred thing to do. I mean, I know when I was a teenager, I never wanted to go to bed, because then that meant school was coming the next day. So, but yeah, probably not. I would go no with that one. Would you consider yourself to be a morning person? Yes. Would you consider yourself to be a people person? Well, I like to think so. Would you say that you're introverted? Okay, introvert is like not being really, putting yourself out there and stuff like that, right? Or is that, yeah, because an extrovert is somebody who's like, likes to be out with people and stuff like that. At least I think I have those right. I could have them backwards. But yeah, I'm probably a very introverted person until I get to know people really well, and then I'm more kind of outgoing and stuff like that. Do you get along with people who are introverted? Yeah, I mean, I get along with pretty much anybody. Do you enjoy being the center of attention? I do not. Do not like that. Does positivity and optimism help motivate you? I'd say so. Would you enjoy a job working with animals? I would. Can't with my asthma, the way my asthma works, because I'm allergic to animal dander. So, but I would love to, I would work with animals. Do you ever feel like having pets is too much responsibility? I do not. Do you consider yourself to be independent? Yes. Do you sometimes care too much for others? Yes, I do. 100%. Do you sometimes care too little for others? I don't think so. Do you ever need alone time away from everyone else? Yeah, I mean, I think everybody feels like that. You just get in a mood and you don't want to, you just want to be alone and not near people, so I would say yes. Would you consider yourself to be adventurous? I'd like to think so. Would you consider yourself to be a good problem solver? I feel that I am. Would you say you have a strong hold of your emotions? Oh, that's another maybe, because it depends on the circumstances. But I'm usually pretty strong with my holding my emotions, like holding them back, usually. But it's like I said, it depends on the situation, so I'll say yes. Would you consider your life to be stable? Yes, I think so. Would you ever wish to live forever? Oh man, that's a tough one, because this was actually in something once before I did, where I was faced with the option, like I could live forever, like as a vampire, or just live my regular mortal existence. And, I mean, I think it would be neat, but at some point it would probably just be boring because you've lived through everything. So honestly, I'm going to say no. I don't think I would want to live forever. Now, live a long time, yes, but not like forever. Do you enjoy basking in the sun? I do. Do you enjoy walking in the rain? I mean, it's not a big deal. It's kind of nice, especially like when it's been really hot out, so I would go yes. Okay, would you consider yourself to be a sentimental person? I am. Do you ever feel like you're doing too much alone? No, I don't think so. Would you ever wish to be the most powerful spellcaster in the world? I mean, sure, why not? Who wouldn't want that? We'll say yes. Well, all right then. Okay, so that was the last question. I think the Cauldron of Conjuring has enough information. Well done, Wanderer. That was a lot of questions. I'm so excited to see what familiar it's going to find for you. What do you think it's going to be? From what I've seen, there's really no telling. But one thing is for certain. The Conjuring Cauldron may not give you the familiar that you'd necessarily expect, but it does always match you with the familiar that would benefit you the most. Sometimes that means matching you with a familiar that complements your strengths, and sometimes that means matching you with a familiar that's a polar opposite to you in order to create balance for what might be missing. Oh, interesting. But rest assured, Wanderer, the Conjuring Cauldron has your best interest at heart, and it wants you to be happy for the rest of your days. Sign me up. Let's look and see what the Cauldron has found for us, shall we? Oh, I'm so excited. What are we going to get? Without further ado, your familiar is Wayne the cat. Oh my gosh, how adorable. He kind of looks like Gandalf. Now that is amazing, Wanderer. Your cat familiar will play a pivotal role in your magical journey. They will help you cast spells, clean up your workshop, gather ingredients, and guard your stash of ancient treasures. Already love him. With a cat familiar by your side, you'll be able to achieve great success in your sorceress endeavors moving forward. Some things cat familiars are great at include knocking apothecary vials off shelves, capturing small critters and bringing back live ingredients, and being cute as heck. I don't like making messes. Although what is hilarious is I'm actually allergic to cats. And my familiar is a cat. A fun fact about cat familiars is that they have 9 lives, so if any experiment goes horribly, horribly wrong, you have 8 more chances to get it right. Perks of having a cat familiar: you'll have to take constant breaks to give them attention at inconvenient times, but you don't mind that, do you? You will have to do things their way, the right way, or they'll perform their own spells without you. They'll hunt all bugs and smaller critters for you and keep pests away. You're welcome. As long as you treat your familiar with kindness, patience, and love, and keep them well fed so they don't get hangry, they will be your best friend through thick and thin. I think you and your new familiar are going to be so happy together, and I believe in time you'll complement each other quite well. All right, you go ahead and get out of here. You and your familiar have some adventuring to do. Stay safe, Wanderer. I'm sure we'll be meeting again. Perhaps even sooner than you think. That's adorable. All right, everyone, there you have it. That is Familiar Friends, What's Your Familiar? So it's kind of neat. You know, you get to answer certain questions and they match you with a familiar, which I absolutely love. My little cat, he looked like Gandalf. But that's one thing I like about these devs is it's like they said at the end there, a lot of their games, they offer them up for free, or you can also purchase the games as well, which helps, you know, support them as developers. You know, which is really neat. I'm looking forward to Chasing Demons. I cannot wait till that one comes out. I really enjoy their games because they do kind of different things like these question ones, or they do like with a work of art, which I have, you know, on my YouTube channel, where it's actually like a bit of a game and you had to do certain things in that and, you know, just follow the story about it. And I just, you know, really, really enjoy it. And I really like these devs and I look forward to seeing what else they do in the future. So leave me a comment down below, you know, and Familiar Friends. I cannot say that. Familiar Friends, What's Your Familiar? You know, let me know what you thought about it. You know, if you've tried it out, you know, what character did you get? I'm very curious. And it's like they said, if you put in for your review of the game on their page and you leave that code word that they give you, they do pick your name because they got in touch with me and selected me, and I gave them the name Azrael. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what game that is going to turn up in because I haven't seen it yet. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's in Familiar Friends, and I just hadn't seen that one. But definitely enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Please leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Bye.